Hello, Hilary and James.
Hi.
Hello, good morning. So, we're now entering your antique shop,
Yes.
and yeah, you opened it recently, I understand.
Yes, I've only been here 5 weeks. It's a new enterprise, although I have been dealing in antiques for 27 years.
Okay, yeah, can you tell me a little bit more about this history of yours in antique business?
Yes, I can. I studied history at the LSE back in the 1980s and came to the end of my degree, didn't know what I wanted to do. My parents saw a job interview for an antique dealer, which I applied for. But unfortunately, because I'm very tall, the antique shop that I applied to was a very old building with low ceilings. And consequently, I was too tall for the shop. But the lady there sent my CV off to a man in London called Brian Eldridge. And he took me on. Very high ceilings. This is the showroom where I started working.
Yeah, this is the showroom where you started working. Yeah,
Yes.
it's amazing. Yeah.
27 years ago, and I learnt a great deal from him, worked with him for over 20 years, and then he retired, and I just recently set up my own account.
Yeah, in this beautiful neighborhood here in Grace Inn
Gray's Inn
Road.
Road
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Bloomsbury.
And there is a very strong connection between this neighborhood and your products.
That's quite right.
How is this?
This is a Georgian area of London, and most of the items that I sell are from the Georgian period, although I do sell things that are earlier and later than that too. But also, interestingly about this area is that Charles Dickens lived in the next street, so he probably walked past this shop many times. And so it's a very historical area.
Yeah, this is funny that you mentioned Charles Dickens because you showed me this item, and when you showed me this item, I had to think about Dickens.
Yes.
Can you tell me what this is and what is the connection with Dickens that I
Well,
made?
this is actually earlier than Charles Dickens. This dates from the late 18th century, and it's known as a guinea scale. So it's a coin balance, and every tradesman would have had one of these, because back in the 18th century, coins were actually made from gold, guineas and sovereigns. And so people used to clip the edges of the coins and add up all the clipped pieces that they took off to make extra money. It was totally illegal, of course. And so everyone trading in coins would have one of these to double check that the money they were given was worth the value on the coin. So here you would put your coin on this balance here. Whether it was a guinea or a half guinea, you would move this over, and then you can tell by moving this slide along how much of the coin had been clipped or not.
Yeah.
This was made by Mr. Wilkinson near Liverpool. But this is just Georgian ingenious design at its very best.
Yeah, exactly.
Form and function.
Yeah, so you have so many beautiful items in your shop, and also interestingly, you have items ranging from £3, which are these nice
These
things.
are late 18th, early 19th century mother of pearl gaming counters from China, all beautifully engraved, and people would have used these when they were playing cards or gambling. And they're just a beautiful item that you can have 200 years old and not very much money.
Exactly. So something else I loved in your collection are these two things I'm filming now. These are totally amazing.
These
Can you tell me something about this,
I can.
Hilary?
This is known as a Brighton bun, and these were invented in the 18th century. Again, a Georgian form and function at its very best. These were taken by campaign officers during the Napoleonic Wars, and they would use these for writing their dispatches or letters home. But what's so wonderful about them is that the candle holders unscrew, and this one has a screw thread. This one unscrews, and it has the screw thread on the candle holder, and then they fit together like this. Ooh, screw together, and there you have a wonderful.
And then you can play ice hockey with it. Eh? This is what I was
It's
thinking.
like an ice hockey puck,
Yeah,
quite right.
exactly.
But so this is 200 years old. Such a great design. It carried on through the 19th century, also taken by travellers on the Grand Tour. And then you have another example here in olive wood. This was probably made in Jerusalem. People who were travelling to Jerusalem. Exactly the same thing, 100 years later. And there you have just a wonderful thing that's incredibly still perfectly usable today for the very same purpose that they were invented.
Absolutely. Okay.
And this one has the snuffer as well.
We were talking about the Napoleonic Wars.
Ah, yes.
And this was really the most amazing item I think you had in the shop,
Yes,
Hilary.
this
I mean,
is quite
what's this? It's just a normal box or not?
It seems like a very normal, unprepossessing box, but it just has incredible historical significance because it was made from the elm tree under which the Duke of Wellington stood to direct the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. So it's also interesting because it's the 200-year anniversary this year.
Exactly. So the wood of this box is from the tree under which Lord Wellington stood while he was directing the Battle of Waterloo and defeating, which was in fact the most important battle in history of England, maybe.
Well, could well be, absolutely. But this tree was brought back by a chap called John George Children, who was a librarian at the British Museum. And the farmer on whose field the tree stood was fed up with tourists coming to see the tree, and he was going to cut it down. So Mr. Children bought the tree, came back to England with it, made a chair, or had a chair made by Thomas Chippendale Jr., Chippendale's son, which he gave to King George IV, and also made a chair which he gave to the Duke of Wellington, so that's still at Apsley House. And then the other parts of the wood were distributed to friends and family, and someone has had this box made with this wonderful library plaque. So quite.
You told me it's not really for sale, or you don't know if it's for sale even. It's like a fake. It has a fake status in the shop.
Well, I am hoping to have a little exhibition in June relating to the Battle of Waterloo and the Duke of Wellington, so it will probably appear there. But at the moment, I'm quite happy to keep it in my own collection.
Exactly, Hilary. Okay, so we're now coming to the end of the video, but I want to also point out that, you said a lot of antique shops are closing. You were just opening a few weeks ago. What's the story about it? How do you think you can open while others are closing? Tell me your secrets.
Well, I'm hoping that this area, because there are no other antique shops in the area, but it's an area that's full of people who are interested in old things and collecting. Just along the road you have the Inns of Court, where all the lawyers are. They have culture, education, and more importantly, money to buy things, but they're time poor. So if you are located where people can pop out and see you at lunchtime or after they finish work, hopefully you're providing a service. But I also have customers from the British Museum, curators there, city business people, but also very creative people as well. Book illustrators, theatrical set designers, fashion stylists. So you're reaching a whole range of people who are all based in this area. And it's just very historically interesting, and you're selling items that fit with the area.
Okay, I wish you good business, and I think it was very exciting to have this little tour of your shop. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rico.